In this video, we're going to learn how to solve this math problem using two methods. The first making use of fractions and model, the second using only fractions. Adi Boba Calrissian had 336 kilogram of rare metals altogether. Adi gave 1/7 of his metal to Boba and 5/14 of his metal to Calrissian. After that, all of them had the same amount of rare metal. How much more metal did Boba had than Calrissian at first? Right, so the first thing we can do is to find the total amount that Adi gave to Boba and Calrissian. Right, so it is 1/7 plus 5/14. Right, of course, this is at 2/14 plus 5/14, which is 7/14. Right, we can simplify this, but now because since we are making use of model, this 7/14 will be very useful. Right, so what does this mean? This means that Adi gave actually 7 units from a total of 14 units that he had. Right, so we can start to build up our model. Right, let's start with Adi first. Right, so initially he had 14 units. Right, then he gave 7 to both Boba and Calrissian, so he would be left with 7 units. Right, so this is the start and this is the ending. Right, and then we are told that after he gave Adi gave this amount of rare metals, the 3 of them had the same amount of rare metals. Right, so we can also draw the ending model for Boba as well as Calrissian, because all of them will share 7 units. Right, so this is for Boba and this is for Calrissian. Right, so now looking back at this, Adi gave 1/7. 1/7 is also 2/14. That means he gave Boba 2 units. Right, and then Boba ends up with 7 units. That means initially Boba must have 7 minus 2 or 5. Right, because 5 plus 2 will make up 7. Right, so we know that at the beginning Boba has 5 units. Now what about the Calrissian? Calrissian was given 5 units. He ended up with 7. So that means initially he would have only 7 minus 5 equal to 2 units. Right, so summarize. Let's give a different color. Right, for Calrissian this is 2. For Boba this is 5 units. The total amount is 336 kilograms. So what is the total number of units? We can make use of this, right? Or we can make use of the beginning, but it is easier to make use of this, which is 7 multiplied by 3, or 21 units. And that is equal to 336 kilograms. Right, so we can find 1 unit. This will be equal to 336 divided by 21, and we are going to get 16 kilogram. Right, so now the question asks for how much more metal did Boba had over Calrissian. Boba had 5, Calrissian had 2, so we're going to take the difference, 5 minus 2, and this is 3 units, and 3 units will of course be equal to 16 multiplied by 3, or 48 kilograms. Right, so now let's try to answer the question using only fractions. Right, so the first thing we can do is to find the total that Adi gave to Boba and Calrissian. So that will be 1/7 plus 5/14. Alright, this is equal to, I believe, 7/14, and can be simplified to half. Right, this means that Adi gave half of his metal to Boba and Calrissian. Right, so what does that mean? That means he will be left with 1 minus half. Right, which is also half. Alright, so This is for RD. So, but we are also told that all of them actually had the same amount of metal after this operation. Right? So that means that boba also have half at the end, and so does calresium. Right? So to find the amount that the boba had at the beginning, we just take half and then minus the 1/7 that was given to him by RD. Right? So we can use our calculator to do this. We're going to get 5/40. Right? So this is for boba. We can do the same for calresium. In the end he has half, and then he was given 5/14. So we take half minus 5/14, and I believe we're going to get 1/7. Right? Then the question asks, how much more did boba had over calresium? So we have to find the difference. So 5/14 minus 1/7. If we use our calculator, I believe we're going to get 3/14. Right, so the question is, what is this fraction 3/14 in terms of the kilogram of rare metals? Right, so we can make use of this information actually. Right, in the end, RD had half, boba had half, and calresium had half. So the total amount that they have is actually half plus half plus half, or 3/2. Now you may wonder how come we are getting fraction which is more than 1 here. 3/2 is actually 1.5. Right? So it is actually more than 1 because all these fractions that we are dealing with is not out of the total. Right? This fraction actually based on only RD's rare metal. Right? Of course, RD's rare metal is not the total. The total is much more than that. That is why the total fraction that we get here is more than 1. Right? That's the reason. Right? So now 3/2, which is the total, is equal to 336. Right? So we are interested to find 3/14. Right? So you can view this as 3/2 units is equal to 360. So we can find what is 1 unit or 1 whole. It will be 336 divided by 3/2. Right? And then to find 3/14, we'll have to multiply this by 3/14. Right? So the expression will be 336 divided by 3/2 and then multiply by 3/14. Right? You're going to get 48 kilogram. So for your practice, go to the link that is given below. Right? Click on the new problem button to get a new set of numbers for the problem. Then you can check your answer by clicking on this. This is the first method using the model as a fraction, and then click on this to get the answer for using only fractions. Okay guys, so thank you for listening and have fun.